This video is made possible by Max at Naperville Cadillac. Naperville Cadillac offers no BS pricing, meaning what you see is what you pay. No hidden fees, the way car buying should be.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Cadillac XT6 Premium Luxury. Up front is a 3.6 liter V6 and down below is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Cadillac XT6 for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've never driven one before. This was unveiled a couple of years ago by Cadillac, and it's their 3-row SUV that isn't the Escalade. So with SUVs being so hot right now, this is Cadillac's take on it, and I have some thoughts about that. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpredo.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one. And you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 3.6 liter V6 under the hood. It's making about 310 horsepower, and it's nothing crazy. GM has used this engine in most of their vehicles for the last decade and a half. The Camaro base model gets this engine. The Traverse that this car is based off of gets this engine. The Blazer gets this. I mean, so many vehicles get this engine. It's shared on a lot of platforms, which means that parts availability is going to stick around for quite some time. And that's really, really nice to see. Now, you can also get these with the 2-liter turbo. However, that gets less horsepower, but a little bit better fuel economy. This gets about 19 in the city, 25 on the highway, which isn't bad, but still isn't fantastic. Like I said, paired to it, 9-speed automatic transmission. It's fine. It's doing the job. It's shifting. It's quiet, and that's all I worry about. Last but not least, the XT6 Premium Luxury is all-wheel drive. However, you can find front-wheel drive models. This is the all-wheel drive version, and I definitely prefer that. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. On the left is my tachometer and fuel, and on the right is my speedometer and coolant temperature. And in the center, I get a very customizable screen. I like the fact that it isn't just rectangular. It feels a little bit more spacious than that and has some really, really great options. GM has always been very, very good about offering you plenty of options when it comes to information in their gauges. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my cruise control options, heated steering wheel, as well as voice and phone commands. And on the right, I have my skip track and selectors, as well as volume control for the infotainment system. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is great. I love this gray leather. I think it's definitely very different than the black leather that we tend to usually get in luxury vehicles. Off to the left, I have my parking brake, gauge dimmer switch, and then I have my heads-up display controls. So this does come with a heads-up display, which is definitely very nice. And like I said, GM's been doing this for almost 30 years, putting heads-up displays in their nicer vehicles, and I like that they kept that tradition alive. Moving onto the door, I do have a Bose speaker as well as my lock and unlock, and this nice wood grain. And then down below, I have my power mirrors and power windows. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents, and then I have the infotainment system itself. This is shared with almost all other GM products right now, from higher-end Chevys, Buicks, and of course Cadillacs. And I like it. It's responsive, it has good coloring, and for 2021 they started offering wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which this being a 2022 obviously gets, and I overall really, really enjoy it. It does have a backup camera as well. This is what that looks like. And I get a 360 bird's eye view as well. And I can play around with a couple of the different views from those cameras, because there are several cameras positioned all around the vehicle, which you can actually put an SD card in the trunk and record off of if you'd like to do that. And so you get plenty of visual options here in the XT6. Then I get some volume and home options, as well as parking sensors and automatic start-stop on and off, buttons off to the left and below the radio. Then I have the climate controls. Of course, I do get dual zone. I also get heated and ventilated seats. Very, very nice plush luxury options here in the XT6, and you'll love to see it. Then I do get a little cubby that actually has like leather on it, so I wouldn't really want to put much in here, which is kind of Interesting. It's like a skin pocket. Ugh. Then moving on to the center console, off to the left, I do have the shifter. This is pretty standard place for most Cadillac shifters these days, and I've grown to deal with it. At first, I didn't like it because you had to hit the button and grip it weird, but now it's fine. Down below that, we do get the volume control for the radio as well as skip track, and I get a little rotary knob for the center display if I don't want to use the touchscreen, which is very nice. And I get some quick hotkeys for music, navigation, return, and phone options. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Cadillac XT6 for the first time, and as I suspected, it unfortunately fails. They're just too skinny. Then I do get my traction control off and my drive mode select. So I have Tour, all-wheel drive, sport, and off-road, which seem to be pretty self-explanatory, but I like that I get that customization. Then I actually have a little wireless charger / phone pocket in front of the center console, and then we have the center console itself. Nothing too crazy to write home about in here. However, I do get a USB-C and traditional USB. Then we got to talk about the seats. Like I said, they are heated, they are ventilated, they are power, and they are memory. So they do everything I really want out of a vehicle in this segment. They are comfortable and they do the job thoroughly. However, speaking of seats, one of the XT6's big calling cards is the fact that it is a 3-row SUV. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the Cadillac XT6 and my knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. Headroom good. However, this is with the seat moved all the way back. So if you just have 4 people in the car and they can move all the way back, it's going to be fine, but I can't imagine what that does to the seat behind me. I do get my own climate controls down here, and they say Cadillac on them, which is nice. And I do get a USB and USB-C, as well as a big center cubby down below, similar as to the one that you would find in the GMC Acadia of the same year. I also get the wood trim back here, Bose audio system, and things like that. But let's hop into the third row and take a look at the back seats. All right, so we're in the very back of the XT6, and as I expected, these seats are not great. For children, they'd be fine. For shorter individuals, fine, but I'm 5'11". My knees are not going to fit back here very well. Something really nice is that these are actually power folding seats, so I can fold these up or down with the push of a button. We'll talk about that when we talk about the cargo space in a second. But if you really, really are going to use the third row all the time, go up to the Cadillac Escalade or start looking elsewhere. These are if you need them back seats, and they work. They have seat belts and USB-C chargers and things like that, but I would not want to sit back here for too long. Let's go hop around the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so around the back of the XT6, I do have a trunk popper on the key fob. It is a power tailgate. And of course, back here, we do have the floor mats to keep them nice for the next owner. However, like I said, we do have buttons over here that will actually release all 4 seats. And then that one is already down. So the cool thing is that the third row will actually come back up at the push of a button as well over here. However, the second row does not, so you actually have to manually put those up. But pretty cool to see. Other than that, not too much stuff down here. I do have a little cubby, and then if you pull this out, this little liner, you actually get the spare tire underneath. So little hidden spare tire down there, but plenty of space in the back of the XT6 when all the seats are folded down, and that is very, very nice. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I actually really like the look of the XT6. This is infrared tri-coat, and they actually stopped producing this color this year in 2022. Unfortunately, Cadillac actually ran out of the materials to make this color, and so they discontinued it. So infrared is actually going to become quite the rare color. I like it a lot. I love the look. The XT6, I think, looks sharp, and that's what I expect out of a Cadillac from the modern era. But now, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving the 2022 Cadillac XT6? Well, you have to understand the market here in 2022. I don't know when you're watching this video. It might be in the future. But right now, SUVs are hot. They are the thing to buy. And so, in response, every automaker is offering at minimum 3 SUVs in one shape or another. Cadillac has the XT4, the XT5, the XT6, and the Escalade. And so it's hard to stick out in the crowd when everyone is offering so many options when it comes to the SUVs. So what makes the XT6 stick out? What's interesting or unique about this car that would make you choose it over other vehicles, say like its platform mate, the Traverse, or the GMC Acadia? Well, mainly the calling card for the XT6 is the ride and road noise. They're both very minimum. It is a very, very smooth, very comfortable, very relaxing ride here in the XT6. It's comfortable, I'm sailing over bumps, and although Cadillac has changed drastically over the last couple of decades, one thing that has always remained, always reigned true when it comes to a Cadillac motor vehicle is the ride quality. It has always been good, and I'm happy to report that that continues with the 2022 XT6. The other thing is the road noise. It's very little amount of it, and again, I would expect that out of a Cadillac, but not a lot of its competitors can say the same. It's nice and quiet in here. It's calm. I'm enjoying it. The loudest thing in here is actually my equipment box next to me for filming. It has this little squeak that I normally don't hear in most other cars, and so it's a good indication for me when a car is truly quiet, when I hear my little equipment box squeaking away. This car is calm, it's collected, it's very adult, it's very mature, and that's what I expect out of Cadillac. Cadillac is the mature adult decision when it comes to the automobile. Always has been, and hopefully always will be. This makes me put my big boy pants on. And I guess me actually saying big boy pants probably means that I'm not mature enough for this car. But that's it. That's why the XT6 sticks out, is the ride and quiet. Everything else in here can be duplicated and replicated in other vehicles. The volume knob down the center, well, the Mazda CX-5 does that. The infotainment system shared with all other GM products. The sound system is the same sound system you'll find in a lot of vehicles, BMW, Mercedes, Lexus, you name it. But the driving feel and the lack of road noise, that's something special. Huge thank you to Max at Cadillac of Naperville for letting me take out their XT6. This thing is really, really cool. I'm so glad I was finally able to take one out. They are absolutely awesome. This is one of their used vehicles. However, they have tons of other XT6s, 5s, and 4s, as well as Escalades. If you have any questions at all concerning these cars, please head on over to Cadillac of Naperville. Ask for Max. He will be able to answer all of your questions. He is one of a kind, and I can't thank him enough. But don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.